Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana, and today is day 6 of compassion. And I'm a little bit later than I wanted to be, but today I want to include a little bit of a relaxation meditation. And so I wanted to change the time. I just finished a yoga practice, which I teach on Zoom every Thursday morning, and I just thought this was a beautiful time to offer this. And so my card for day 6 for 7 days of compassion was the 10 of Swords from the Hush Tarot, which is on the screen. This way, you can see it right there. And here we have, this is actually, it's a beautiful card. You know, if this was the first card I saw in this deck, I might have a completely different opinion of this deck. I love the surrender of this pose and the fact that dandelions are on the card, and we're going to talk about that surrender. We're going to talk about the medicine of the dandelions, and I have a couple of different things that I want to offer you today. So first of all, the compassion piece. This is a heavy hitting card. A lot of people don't like this card. It's often drawn with blood and a lot of pain and anguish. And here we're seeing something a little bit different, which really appeals to me. There is a softness, but also I want to acknowledge that in this kind of surrender and this kind of letting go, there is tremendous pain. And when people get to the point of their spiritual journey, sometimes this transition from more of an egoic way of living to more of a spiritual way of living in trust, going with the flow, so to speak, can be really, really challenging. And sometimes we assume that spiritual people have it together. They know what they're doing. But we need to really, I want to kind of step back. So different experiences in India with the sadhus and India with the sadhus and so forth. Or I'm even thinking of more like different travels, not just that country, where I have observed people deep in their practice in Thailand, even in Japan, in the mountains and the temples. There's a commitment to that. There's a dedication, and so I feel so much respect and compassion for these people who have stepped away from perhaps families, stepped away from maybe friends who don't understand what they're doing, into this place of surrender, into this place of understanding that at this point of their journey, they actually do want to connect more to the divine. And so for me, the compassion piece is that acknowledging that surrender isn't easy. Surrender can be painful. We can lose friends. We can lose family members. I think for me, like the whole divorce thing, there was a component of this. There was a component of, whoa, my wife is turning into this spiritual person who's very different from when this marriage started. That wasn't, there was many, many other things, but for sure there's a component of that. And when I go to, hello, my computer's a little bit far away. I think I can see V. Kestrel there. Hello to you. And Sabo's there as well too. Namaste. I don't want to lose my train of thought. When I've been to places like a mediumship workshop or an intensive weekend thing with a bunch of people who are really on their path, I find there's a lot of divorced people. There's a lot of single people. And if there are couples, wow, they are like amazing couples, you know? So sometimes this can be a very, very lonely journey. And so this compassion I feel for people who are committed to their practice is one of the things that came up in this card. This book here, Ode to the Dandelion, this is by Dana O'Driscoll, Tarot of Trees. And when I saw this book on her Etsy shop, I thought it might have been like poetry or something like that. I didn't realize what kind of book it was going to be. But this is actually I just love the painting on the front of this. I might go to her Etsy shop and see actually if she has this painting for sale. Dana in this book she's a beekeeper, which I didn't know. And she's gone through and talked about our current, at least in North America, perspective about the dandelion. And a lot of people like to have lawns, and dandelions are considered a weed. And so she talks about shifting your perspective from the dandelion as a weed to the dandelion as medicine, and how she just really loves it when the dandelions come into bloom and she sees the bees coming to the garden and their little feet laden with the yellow dust. This is a sweet little book that talks about when to and how to harvest the roots, and how we can use the leaves, and how we can use the flowers, and all the different things. She has teas in here. She has instructions for wine, dyes, using the yellow flowers as dye. It's just a really, really sweet little book. Dandelion coffee, dandelion jelly, and just talking about the medicine, and how the bitters are so very, very good for us, and harvesting the greens. If we can get clean greens that aren't next to a roadway or something that are covered with pollution, we can put those greens in our salads and so forth. And so it's just a really sweet little book. And the whole medicine of the dandelion on this card, when I see a dandelion in a tarot card or an oracle card, I'm thinking of, there's one in Tarot of the Hidden Realm. There's a few different decks that have that dandelion. Sometimes it's a wish card. You know how, when you're a kid and you pick up when it's starting to go to spore, and you pick it up and you blow it and all the spores would go everywhere and make a wish. It's just magical. It's just a magical flower. And so I really think the dandelions growing out of her back, there's something about there's just so much beauty here. This has been a theme that's been coming up for me over the last 6 days. It's about really understanding what is beauty. What is beauty? And I think beauty is about that connection with spirit. It's about understanding and feeling that, those little tingles when you get on your spine. There's just something really, really magical. I'm hoping that I can find a coherent way to weave all of these cards together that have come up over the past 6 days. Yeah. So what I would love to do, and I'm going to do now, if you want to join me, that's great. If you want to sign off and say goodbye, I'm going to guide you into relaxation, and we're going to go into a pose of surrender. We're going to transition into child's pose, Balasana. I'm going to guide you into a visualization. It won't be long. If you have a yoga bolster, if you want to go grab a pillow from your bed, it's just really nice to hug something when you come into child's pose, especially if you're not warmed up. And we're just going to let go. And so I invite you to join me. I see Tiny Trinkets and Tarot is here. Hello, Angela. I'm just going to scoot over here. I know this is totally awkward, me reading the chat this way. Yes, the pollen on their feet. I wanted, Sabo, I looked up that word, A-X-E, with the accent. And is it Ashe? Is that how you say it? Ashe? And it has some kind of a spiritual connotation. I would love if you could message me, maybe in the comments later, and tell me about this greeting and what are the connotations. What's the meaning of this greeting and the pronunciation? Okay, thank you. All right. So if you have a bed pillow, kind of squish it up, or if you have something, and then just put it in front of you. And if this is an awkward position for you, you can also stick a blanket here so that if your hips don't easily come to your heels, so you have a bit of height here. I know some people, when they're starting out, they need to have a little bit of elevation here because it's just not accessible. So some people actually need to sit up on something. This is a pose that is accessible for everybody. And then widen your knees slightly. Bring your hands forward and just start to make your way down into the shape that you see on this tarot card. And in yoga, this is referred to as child's pose. It's a pose of relaxation. It's a wonderful stretch for the low back. And come to your breath. Focus on your exhale and close your eyes. And with each exhale breath, allow the body to soften even more. And allow the physical body almost to melt into the ground beneath you, so that you don't know where the ground begins and your body ends, or vice versa. Really feel that connection. And then imagine the floor beneath you is actually the earth. Perhaps it's soft grass. And smell the grass, or smell the earth. And it's warm. And around you on the grass are dandelions in various stages. Some have turned to seed. There's a few still with yellow flowers. And you can hear the birds. Maybe there's a little bit of wind. Keep focusing on your exhale breath and let go. Soften your face. Just check in with your mouth and jaw. Allow the tongue to come away from the roof of the mouth. And keep encouraging the hips closer and closer to the heels. And then bring your awareness to your back. Start up near the back of the heart space and the rib cage. And take some deep breaths here. Filling the back of the rib cage with prana, with life. And then as you exhale, just soften and let go. Feel your hands on the floor, on the earth. Wiggle your fingers through the grass. Big exhale breaths. And take your awareness now to your low back, your kidneys. You fill your low back with breath. Feel the prana nourishing your low back. This is where stress begins, and we really need to fill the low back with breath. Keep it warm. Feel the warmth of the sun on your low back. And as you nourish the low back, the whole back begins to radiate and fills with energy. The shoulders become softer. The skin feels softer. And the whole body can let go. And then bring to mind the image on the card. You are the young, beautiful soul pictured in the card, surrounded by the beauty of the garden. And with your eyes closed, just slide your pillow out of the way and scoot forward onto the floor. Extend your legs. Bend your elbows and rest your forehead or the side of your face on the backs of your hands. And feel how relaxing this is. Feel your back. And be aware of your back from your heels, up the backs of your legs, over your buttocks, up your back, all the way up to the back of your head. And feel the energy radiating here. And then go ahead and roll over onto a side into a fetal position. And when you feel ready, you can come back up. And so one of the things I want to share that really came up for me in this card was that, you know, the 10 of the swords, sometimes the person is prone, lying down on the ground. Sometimes they're on their back. I've never seen them in this shape before. But this is not a bad place to be. You know, in yoga, the pose where you lie on your back at the end of every single class is called Savasana. It means corpse pose. It's the death of the practice. It's the place in the practice where we let go. It's the place where we integrate everything we've done, all that hard work that we've done. And so it's not a bad place. It's just a place of surrender. It's a place of integration. And so just kind of circling back to where I started, this compassion for those that have the courage to let go. It's kind of where I'm going with this. So yeah. All right. So that's my reflection for today. I'm going to shuffle the cards and draw my card for day 7. Ooh, that's pretty. the Star card. Wow, I haven't. Maybe my opinion about this deck is changing. Hello, Diana. Let me know if any of you joined me for that. All right, so focusing on day 7 of compassion, the next 24 hours, where would my energy benefit from focusing? What aspect of compassion would I benefit from focusing on? Okay. Strength. All right, strength it is. Let me just check in with the chat. And I also want to let you know that I'm going to be on Amber's channel a little bit later today. Amber from Lavender Moon. I'm doing a court card. She's doing a series called Master Tarot Classes, and I'm doing a court card lesson today. And then I'll be back on my channel at 8 p.m. Pacific, a little bit later than usual. And I'm doing a tag from Andrew, Well-Tempered Claire, on the planetary energies of tarot. Oh, you're so welcome, B. Kestrel. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Yeah, I never thought of that before. You know, I never thought of Savasana connected with the 10 of Swords. So, you know, you never know what these kind of focuses can bring up for you. It might be compassion, like the theme is compassion, but this could take you in a whole new level of awareness with a few cards. So yeah, so I encourage you to try this at some time, whether you do it privately or you share it or not. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see some of you later today. Namaste.